Good morning, Vito Skronick here. This is Monday, March 6th. Today we're talking about sales of the last week around the last 10 counties. But first, talk about, I was going to talk about what I did this weekend, but didn't do anything. It was nice. It was glorious. It was cold. I bundled up, watched a lot of TikTok and movies, hung out with my girls, and we went to the dollar store, spent $90 at the freaking dollar store, but kind of needed that. And then I did some volunteer work, which was fun. So yeah, today there's some really odd things happening in the market. Obviously, you're seeing the interest rates go up. You're seeing the market kind of plateau. The stock market, we're freezing over. There's snow in our hills, and LA is shut down, and the mountains up there at Lake Arrowhead is shut down completely. It's weird. Just, I don't know. It's not Armageddon for sure, but definitely changing times here. And you know what? It's only temporary. Today, I want to talk about two reports I'm looking over. Let me get to them real quick. What you need to know about closing costs. It's done by Ashley Stupin. I think she's a writer for Realty Times. But how much are closing costs? I get that question all the time. And it really depends. Are you a buyer or a seller? If you're a buyer, it really depends on what county you're in. There's something called who pays what. There's customary costs per county. And sometimes the seller pays the majority, and sometimes the buyer pays the majority. Sometimes it's 50-50 down the line. Now, I'm only talking about California. I don't know what it is in other states because I don't sell real estate in those states. You need to ask your agent. But different counties are different, right? And different counties charge a little bit more or a little bit less, depending on what county it is. And some jurisdictions, some cities charge a transfer tax as well. So you have to really know what's going on. On top of all that, there's lender fees and escrow fees, and there's all these different things. So that's really what this is talking about. There's a loan application fee. I mean, you really shouldn't be charged that in this day and age. I've vetted out 3 amazing loan brokers that understand the process, understand the products. They don't overcharge you. Period. They will not ever overcharge you. There's national agencies and fly-by-night companies that call you up and say, we're going to redo this and do this, and they're going to charge you all these fees and points and all this stuff. Be very wary about that. As a matter of fact, if you do decide to do a loan, a couple of my lenders, and I don't make money off of my lenders, I never would, because they would just pass the cost on to you. So why would I charge them to do service for you? I just don't do that. My lenders will do a second look for anything that you do. If you get like an online call from, I don't know, Joe Schmuckatelli, and they're like, here, we're going to refinance your house for you. You need to sign this disclosure. If you see a bunch of fees, that's the first thing you ask for, is a bunch of what the fees are. Give me a cost breakdown of your fee structure. Send it to one of my guys, and they'll do a second look, and they'll tell you if it's a fair loan, if they can beat it, and if the fees are correct, if the fees are fair. Okay. Right now, because the rates are so high, sometimes it's better to pay more points towards lowering that price. So it could be 7.5%. You get it down to 5.3% and change, what have you. That's understandable. I closed on a deal last week, and the lender charged them over 3% in points. And here's the kicker. Watch this. It went from like 7 and change down to 5.3 or 5.6. Charged them, like, I want to say $30,000 for like 3 points. And I negotiated that for him. I took off $30,000 off of the closing fee. I asked the seller to pay closing fees, 33% in closing fees. And that went to go buy the rate down. Guys, we're doing that a lot, and it's good agents that know how to negotiate that, how to tuck that in and make it happen. So understand that. I want to say that there's 3 different types of loans. There's 4. There's the conventional, then there's jumbo, and then there's government, FHA, VA, USDA, and then there's subprime and hard money, that kind of stuff. That's the stuff that you really don't see a lot of here. Mostly what you see are government, conventional, and mostly what we see are jumbo. In jumbo, you're going to see a whole lot of different things. With VA and USDA, there are fees associated with it, but I work with veterans through veteran programs where we waive all those fees so you don't have to deal with it. You have to work through us to get those benefits, right? There's other fees. There's escrow fees, title fees, all these other things. When I sit down with you, I give you a very basic understanding of what the fee structure is. Then we work with your lender of choice, because I can't force you to work with my lenders, but I'm always going to recommend them because I trust them. And then once we get there, we'll work with an escrow officer to give us a breakdown of what the costs and fees are and all that other stuff. So you're aware of what's going on before you ever get started. That's one of the commitments I have. There's no attorney fees here unless you go into a lawsuit, etc. We use escrow to close here in California. Like in Georgia and a couple other states, they use a lawyer to do it. And they actually do table funding, table closing, boom, boom, boom. It's all done. The buyer sits there, the seller sits here, there's lawyers and everybody's shaking hands and it's done. Here, you never get to see the buyer or seller. Done. All right. How to lower your closing costs. You can shop around, but lenders are really good at tucking stuff around, which is why I'm telling you, ask for a second look. Call me up, send me the lenders' closing fees, and I'll introduce you to my lenders. And you've met them all on my videos before. You're welcome to call them straight away and have them do a second look. See if the fees are right, if they can beat it. Why not? And another way to lower closing costs is to work with an agent that knows how to negotiate the contracts on your benefit. Now, when the market is in free fall or free wildfire and it's going crazy and you're competing against 25 other buyers, you're not going to be able to do anything like that. Right now, we can negotiate some amazing deals for buyers. I have a couple other closings coming down this week, and I'll explain them as they come along. Can't really talk about them until they're closed because, bad karma. Knock on wood. Okay, selling tips. Selling tips for a fixer-upper. Now, I have one coming up in Hayward, and we're probably going to shuffle that off to a flipper or an investor because it's pretty trashed. We work with a couple different programs where we can lend you money. We work with program managers, project managers, and make sure that everything is done. But here's the thing. We don't want to overspend, right? You let us control it. Let us figure it out. Let us come to you with a budget of what we think we need to do to maximize your ROI. And we're going to do it. If you need to put your hands inside of what was going on, it's going to slow down the process. It'll muck up the process. And sure, yeah, we can talk to your lender, your guy, and he'll probably get you a better deal. But 9 times out of 10, what happens is he'll promise you something and just match you the deal, and then the work is shoddy, where we have to go back and redo it. So when we tell you that we're working with vetted contractors and vendors, that we know what we're talking about, we know what we want to have done, we know that it's going to be a little more expensive, but it's going to get done. It's going to get done the right way, and then you don't have to go back and do it. All right. Again, you have a couple different choices, and when we sit down to talk about who is going to buy your house, we come up with a demographic identity of who is going to, the kind of buyer that can afford your house. Is it a young couple? Is it an investor? Is it a move-up buyer? Is it an empty nester? Is it somebody who wants to buy luxury? It really depends on the house and who we need to attack, and that's how we develop our marketing plan to go forward and help you find your buyer. Obviously, you're going to choose me because I'm the agent, right? I mean, why wouldn't you listen? Why would you be watching this video and not choose me? But anyway, this is exactly right. Don't remodel your kitchen. Don't do a massive remodel of your bathrooms, right? We have small, impactful things that we can do. There's some larger projects that we can do, like air conditioning, which I always recommend because the turnaround on that, the ROI on that is a lot bigger. So there's a lot of different things. And, curb appeal is always going to be most important. And yep, we have programs that are zero cost to you for renovation loans. Again, we take control. We don't charge you fees. We don't charge you interest. We take over projects so you can focus on your life and focus on living your life. And we manage everything and get it done as quickly as possible in a good quality. And we increase the ROI on your property. We're not going to do something and make you spend $50,000 when you're going to get $20,000 in return. We're just not going to do that. So renovation loans, we'll figure out a game plan and do that. Okay, enough of that. Let's talk about last week's sales. Santa Clara had 132 closings. 132 closings last week. That's pretty strong. Year to date, we're almost 730. Contra Costa had 120. Alameda County right here, 144. Year to date, they have 812. What is this compared to last year? Well, I'm glad you asked that. This is just Santa Clara County, and I haven't actually looked at the numbers lately because what we're seeing is the numbers decline dramatically, right? Because if you look at Santa Clara County, and we're at 2067. It's actually right here. So if we're at March, we're going to end up like right here. The number overall in the United States is actually lower than the median price. Where is that median price? I don't have that with me. Oh, you know what? I think it's this one right here. 359,000. That's the United States, right? Remember back in March, I called it 416, but it actually got chunked down to 403 or something like that. So that's the median price across the United States for single family homes. Santa Clara County still doing pretty good, especially if we're at, on average, over $2 million. We're still seeing our pricing go over $2 million. So I don't think we're doing that bad. I think this might be of all properties. So I'm going to have to double check on that. All right. Hardest hit this week, San Francisco. Prices are falling, 3.5% loss in value over the week before over 2022. So we're seeing that massive decline. This is just week to week though, right? This is not an average. And this is average sales price over the last 12 months. So we're seeing that number decline. This is what's really important. We're seeing volume consistently stay pretty stable. We're doing really well. Outside of the Bay Area, I think we're going to see something a little bit different. But we do have people moving out, and that's it. All right. That was it. That was easy. Let's see. So it's going to be an exciting week. Bunch of closings. I got to close a house out in Aptos last week, which was amazing. I love going out there. We went to go see Capitola and the cement boat, what used to be the cement boat, which is sad, but it's part of life. And it's just amazing to see a whole different environment basically there. One of my favorite places. I'm Vito Scarnecchio with the Yabatano Group. We'll see you out there.